preparing for this that all of the really, really good material that I have is protected by attorney-client privilege. I have 40 pages. We're down to 4. But, just like Wayne said, there is no pharmacy client privilege. So first, I'm honored to be here as an attorney representative of Pfizer to show Ed their sincere appreciation for being the most loyal customer of Montgomery County. We have a Viagra clock for him. Viagra pens for him. And for Ed personally, more Viagra at no charge. It is tough being Ed Rinehart. Half of his reputation is ruined by lies. The other half is ruined by the truth. Ed goes to Commissioner's Court and requests removal of all deer crossing signs. His reason? Many deer are being hit by cars, and he no longer wanted the deer to cross where the signs were. There's a fair amount of gossip in East County, and again, at Commissioner's Court, Ed votes to abolish all the streetlights in East County. His explanation? Everyone in East County knows where you are going. Here's some of my favorite Ed Rinehart quotes. Crime is merely politics without the excuses. Things are more like they are now than they ever were before. Most Texas imports come from outside of Texas. I have kept all of the promises I intend to keep. Now, there are some things Ed Rinehart just won't say. And here's a list of them. What he won't say. You'll never hear this out of Ed. I thought Graceland was tacky. No kids in the back of the pickup, it's not safe. Jenna, did you mail that check to Greenpeace? The tires on that truck are too big. Do you think what I'm about to say might offend someone? I'll have grapefruit instead of biscuits and gravy. It's 2 a.m. We've been gambling all night. Let's stop and get some rest. I was honored to be on the campaign trail with Ed. As a relative newcomer to the campaign scene, it was important to see the master at work. And these are the top 10 things I learned from Ed Rinehart while on the campaign trail. Number 10. Ed doesn't approve of political jokes. He's seen too many of them get elected. No matter how insane or filled with sheer lunacy your opponent's accusations are, go ahead and answer them anyway. The longer the speech, the better, no matter how many people tell you to keep it short. One of my favorites, it's okay to take your girlfriend to that special birthday dinner to the American Legion Hall for some politics and barbecue. That feeling will last forever. Or, shall I say, you'll never hear the end of it. Thanks for that one, Ed. Number 6, you can really win a campaign by eating chili 6 times a day. Number 5, The pundits are right. Any publicity is good publicity. Always keep sexual harassment complaints at the forefront of your campaign. Number 4, be sure to have a Democratic opponent. The fun lasts all year. Number 3, it's okay to be a comedian like Ron White. It's only important to have the right to remain silent, just not the ability. Number 2, it's rarely important to follow your lawyer's advice. And as Andy Dill said, and this is really my favorite, it's quite surprising, you really can win an election by 65% of the vote by introducing your criminal defense lawyer in the honored guest section of each and every political event. But I want to toast Ed. I want to thank the class. You couldn't have picked a better person. I mean, he's a good sport and a great guy. So here's to Ed for helping the class, for helping this precinct, and for helping our county. We know you love him, and we all love you. Thank you.
Gilbert, you left your Viagra being up here. We don't want to run low or high. We have the rebuttal from the prosecution. District Attorney Mike McDougall. I'm in kind of the same situation Gilbert is. Most all of my records are still open because we have ongoing investigations. So I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I have learned some really good stuff tonight, and it explains this man, at least to me. Y'all know him a whole lot better because you live with him every day. I only see him every other day. But number one, he seems to have some compulsion. Excuse me, I've been sick for a while. I'm trying to get well. Has some compulsion for Viagra and bricks, and that probably explains why he's not showing up in commissioner's court as he must usually. I don't know. What are you doing with those bricks, Ed? Also, some other things I've learned is that evidently you were a boxer and you grew up in Mississippi. Can we get him enrolled in some kind of education reading class? And the main thing you need to do is teach him what INC stands for and CO period stands for. So when you report them on your campaign finance report, you don't have people calling and saying, aha, I caught you. No, that, and the rooster part, Gilbert kind of hit on it, you know, except I think he probably cut it a little early at 2 o'clock. When you're up all night gambling, you're up with the crows or you're up with the chickens and telling everybody the daylight's up. So I can see where that name came from. And just real quick, because I didn't have to, I've been writing this down as kind of a rebuttal, as he's the only commissioner that I know of in the county that has a special provision for his criminal defense lawyer in his budget. Now, and I'm kind of like Judge Metz too, because he kind of controls what we get. And I've been wondering why every time we go up there to get something for our office, it's like you don't really need anything else. I guess he doesn't think if we have less people, we can't do that much investigation, right, Ed? By the way, Ed, only even though Andy just asked me to do this when I came in, it was kind of mentioned before that I might get to, so I did have a phone call. He didn't call me and interrupt, but Attorney General Greg Abbott also sends his regards. Anyway, that's about all I can think of right now. I do want to add this, though. When I first ran back in '96, this is how I met Ed. and this is also a true story. Most of these stories are true. Because I didn't really meet Ed, I met Sue. Ed was somewhere around, but we drove up to one of the churches out in Splendora was having some kind of fundraiser, and people told me when I ran, because you have to be everywhere all the time so people will get to know you. So my wife and I drove up, and we parked, and there's this big, huge old Suburban in the parking lot with this David Walker for DA sign on the car. And so I was kind of looking to see, those of you who don't know it, David is now your county attorney. He's still a real good friend of mine, but he was my opponent in that election. So I see this car, and so we, at the fundraiser, and then they have a little break because they're going to have an auction of cakes. Anyway, I see this lady walk out and get in the car and make a phone call, and she goes back in, and they start bidding on the cakes. And whoever this lady was, I know the auctioneer said, Ms. Rinehart, what do you bid? And I thought, Ed Rinehart, I've never heard of Ed Rinehart, because he wasn't commissioner then, but evidently he had a pretty good trucking company going, so I thought, well, this is my chance. So I did not let Ms. Rinehart buy one particular cake. And I think that's probably the only time Ed's generosity has ever been challenged. But I wasn't going to leave without that cake, because that was an opponent of mine, somebody supporting him. That's how I met Ed and his wife Sue, and he's still, even though he supported my opponent, we've been really good friends ever since. And I don't have anything but really, really good things to say about Ed. He's a good friend of mine. He does more for this county than anybody I've seen. And I've been in Montgomery County since 1977. And this county has gone places that it never would have gone without Ed's leadership. Thank you for letting me do this, Ed.
Thank you, Mike. We're almost done. We could have had lots of people up here. But again, I promised the class we'd be through by midnight, so we could have had Rick Cowan, and I assure you, y'all didn't want to hear what Rick Cowan could say. And we certainly didn't want the paper print. The next and last roaster, somehow or another, back 60-odd years ago, Ed Rinehart was born. And it was such a hard birth on his mom that his twin brother wasn't born for a few years. Ed must have sucked up all the good stuff. Well, because your twin brother is here tonight, he's come all the way from the funeral home. And itty bitty twin brother, John Darks. Come on up here, buddy. I'd like to share a few words about your big brother.
Dearly beloved friends and family, we are gathered here this evening to pay our least respects to our friend Ed Rinehart. Ed was born with humble beginnings, with what looks like was probably 150 years ago. Ed's mama tried to raise Ed right, though. She told me that he was her one failed project until he moved to Texas. It was here that Ed found God and happiness when he learned to outsmart that one-armed bandit at the casinos. We know he found God and happiness by the look on his face in that picture of that $160,000 check he was holding. But back to last respects or least respects, if you prefer, and I will be short, because that's the only way I can be. About a month ago, somebody asked me if I'd participate in a fundraiser. After I said yes, I learned it was a nice way of asking if we would roast our good buddy Ed. The person said, "You can do this for your good friend Ed, can't you?" Since the term friend was used pretty loosely, I figured it might be okay. They didn't know I was your evil twin brother anyway. Now, according to Webster, to roast means to subject to criticism or ridicule. Now, how do you roast somebody who thinks criticism is the rule of the day? Or someone who has a habit of saying something that he thinks is politically correct, but is truly what's going to put him into the frying pan. And I guess that'd be okay too, Ed, except that why is being fried not good enough? Why isn't you have to always go and jump out of that pan into the fire? So let's think about this for a second. Ed likes to jump out of the pan into the fire, so he's used to the heat. So I'm wondering, how is it that we can give this man enough heat to stay warm with just a little bit of roast? I should have brought you my sweater because I know you are so used to it than anybody. I'm sorry that I'm the last person because I hope we were going to turn up the heat on it just a little bit. Now, Ed and I have always enjoyed a little bit of humor between each of us and tried to tease each other about who was the ugliest. I remember the time he told me if I could just get 1 inch taller, they could consider me totally round. But I think the time I offered him a $50,000 for funeral was just as good. He didn't like it, though, that I told him, or he thought I told him, he had to use it within a week. He thought I was trying to get him knocked off. The real truth of the matter, if it be known, was that I told him he couldn't use it for a week if he died, because it was going to take me a full week to get him to look good. He was that ugly. And lastly, you stole my thunder because I always like to know that you're a good man, and we've always had a good sense of friendship. And many times in the past, those of you who know Ed know that he has the ability to get down and be with the best of the low, not just the best of the best. And I know that because sometimes he'd get down there with me. So Ed, I mean it again as we say goodbye, as we did say hello. I give you honor in the best way. Back up here. All right. That concludes our roast, but we've got a few more things to say. Making a special presentation to the commissioner tonight is Mr. Carl Sears. Mr. Sears, come on up, please.
Well, God, it's just when you think you know someone, he told me he's born on Jensen Drive. I remember shortly after he won his first commissioner race, I was over at his house and we was loading up an old race car, drinking a little of that iced tea. He had to make up a bunch of bumper stickers. And it was kind of, he was serious. I don't let him read the stickers. He probably forgot he even had it.
I wasn't dumb truck driver. I couldn't
Whenever you get tired of this commissioner's job, well, there might be other avenues for you. See that one right there.
Rinehart for president.
No, Ed, we love you, because, born and raised right here in Florida, Texas, the whole time we're here. We never had a paved street or nothing in front of our house till last week. I do thank you for your good job, we do, and as a family here in this little town, and born and raised here. We'll give you a little clock here so you can keep up what time it is.
2 in the morning.
After just something from the family. Thank you, sir.
Drank a little toward Tom.
Thank you, Mr.
James, you ain't gonna get to talk.
All right. Commissioner, we're gonna let you talk for a few minutes, but it is my honor at this time to say a few kind words about this great man right here. When I became president of the Chamber of Commerce in 2003, man, it's been a long 3.5 years. I knew Commissioner Doyle. I knew Commissioner Chance. I knew Commissioner Meadow. I knew Judge Savage, but I didn't know Commissioner Rinehart. I didn't know what I'd been missing. In a lot of very, very positive ways. You've heard about those early days in Mississippi, those running away experiences and all those other great things. Your mom's not doing so well right now. And I know your prayers are with her. Moved to Texas in 1980, employed by the Admiral Linen and Uniform. Can't you just see him driving it? Uniform in the truck. Drug you'd buy from him just to get him out of your store. 1983, him and Sue started Rinehart Sand and Gravel hauling material golf courses, and still remains partners with Sue today. You know, she got a new name though, isn't it? Warren? Yeah, okay, yeah, there's more to that story too. 1998, he ran for Commissioner of Precinct 4. Prior to running for the office, Ed was very involved with the youth of the community of East Montgomery County, and throughout the county, the Sports Association, and a lot of other things. 1999 to present, he has served. He's now in his 3rd term as Commissioner. He was a graduate of the inaugural class, Leadership East Montgomery County class. Been a tremendous supporter of this program ever since. He might speak once during the class, he might speak twice, he might speak however many times we need him on different subjects, and we appreciate that very much. He was a charter member in 1990 of the Community Chamber of Commerce and has remained a member of this chamber ever since and is one of our strongest supporters. He was a charter member of the Rotary Club of East Montgomery County, remains active in that club today. Unfortunately, we always have to have 2 books for our literacy program because when Ed gives his report on the county every week, it's like having a second program. He's a Paul Harris Fellow in Rotary International, which is the highest honor you can have in Rotary. He's a lifetime member and supporter of the East Montgomery County Fair Association. And this is a big man. What are we? Mr. Cowan put you on the spot here. We're 70% water, is that right? Our body or something like that? Well, this is the exception to the rule. He's 90% heart. His heart is as big as his body. He gives in many, many ways to our youth and to many other organizations in this part of the county and throughout the county. He because you'll always find him over there at the Montgomery County Fair in March as well. He supports those kids, and he loves those seniors. Charlie Wilson, Christmas, I think it's Christmas Day, or the day before Christmas, there'll be a new movie coming out starring Tom Hanks and Julia Roberts called Charlie Wilson's War. Charlie Wilson was a scoundrel, and he got elected to the U.S. Congress every 2 years by a minimum of about 70, 75, 80%. I used to live in Angelina County. He was kind of like you, Ed. He took care of his seniors. You ever been to a domino tournament with about 2,000 senior citizens? And that is cutthroat. They play bingo over here at the Friendship Center. You ain't seen nothing. You see that many seniors playing dominoes and trying to get to win the set of dominoes they're playing with. But he got elected because he loved the people and the people loved him. One of the things that impresses me a lot when we go out here to the fair is this man with a kind heart. He brings his friends, those Montgomery County contractors. He doesn't pressure them. He just says on September the whatever, there's going to be an auction. The money goes to our kids to help them go to college and be a better citizen. Show up with your checkbook. And they bid on lots and lots of stuff together, and our community thanks you for that. Ed Rinehart is always the first person to volunteer Jana for another project. Tuesday at Rotary, I tried to shame our Rotarians because I didn't hear from a lot of them. And I sent out an email last week and asked them to help me yesterday morning, cook pancakes and serve 272 Texas Scholar graduates from Duquesne High School. I didn't get a lot of responses, so I got there, and Brandy Roberts, assistant principal at Duquesne High, showed up at Rotary to beg for some of our Rotarians to come and help us yesterday morning. Ed was the first one to volunteer Jana to go and be there. Ed didn't lift a finger or a pancake.
Yes, I did.
Well, yeah, I guess you did. I sprayed the griddles with that spray and put them on there so they won't stick.
Rick's griddle wouldn't work, and I plugged it in.
Oh, you put that's right. I'm sorry, Mr. Commissioner, I apologize. I meant to say he did lift the pancake. Except when it was over, he started eating. 1999 to the present. As I said, he's in his third term. Let me just give you a few highlights of that tenure in service. And I know this number has grown. He's paved over 300 miles of roads. It just took him a while to get to your street. He brought the UTMB clinic to East Montgomery County. He brought the East Montgomery County Community Clinic to East Montgomery County, which is open 7 days a week. He built a new ballpark for our kids in Splendora. Built a new show barn, just recently air conditioned, closed it in, and it's a great place out at Salis Park, and added new lights to the ball fields at Salis Park. Built a new community center. Built a new Friendship Center at Salis Park. Remodeled the courthouse annex, but not until after he remodeled his office over at Precinct 4 barn. I mentioned the clinic, the community development building. He has assisted, along with J.R. Moore, who is our tax assessor and the guru of abatements, assisted in bringing several new industries to our community, such as the Flying J Travel Plaza, the Walmart Distribution Center, and over at I-45, still in Precinct 4, around Shenandoah and Oak Ridge, the Halliburton operation. It is an honor to have you sit in this chair tonight. We appreciate your spirit. We appreciate your friendship. And I think everyone in this room would say, we love you, Commissioner. It's your turn now.
many times, Andy, that I get where I can't say nothing. But, I don't know whether I could have made it since 1999 without the friends of East Montgomery County. I can look out there now and see friends that showed up tonight that were my friends a long time before I was ever commissioned. You know, the good Lord has mysterious ways that He works on. And I guess that He wanted me to do something different than sand the golf courses. I told Jim Simmons the incumbent I defeated in '98. I don't know whether you won or I won. But I am proud to say that I have served Montgomery County, East Montgomery County. I'm proud I've been able to do something for them. I couldn't have done any of this without y'all's support. It ain't every day that you come along and people get behind you and push you faster and faster and faster. And I know that I look out there tonight and I see the people of the improvement district. They had a dream. We talk about Martin Luther King. I got a dream. Well, a lot of this stuff would have never been possible. This building would have never been possible without the improvement district. A lot of the things in our community would have not been possible. Andy's come along and, you know, we've seen ups and downs with the chamber. As long as I've been around here, Andy come along and done a great thing. Then we get Wayne thrown in here with us. I don't know how we got that, but you know, we'll take it. He comes along with all this money from Walmart, you know. We never had this before, Wayne, and you know that. And the rest of you know that. That $500 here, $15, $100 here, makes a lot of difference to you and Rinehart and other charity organizations that they do stuff for. You know, I am so honored for y'all to take time out to come here tonight. You know, I don't know what to say. Rowdy done a lot of research, you know, and he wasn't lying about some of the stuff he done. Mother has got, you know, I don't even want to go there, but pictures of me on a tricycle, a shirt that she made me with that band underneath my arm, sitting there eating peanuts. And there's green peanuts, and you know what they'll do. But, you know, and my dad worked for the county. I remember when my dad started working for the county, and I can't remember what year it was. I know I better not even talk about how I've been 50, I'm 62, and I was about 9 years old, 8 or 9, when he went to work for the county.